Naiapod Mirror.
The Naiapod Mirror. This
like.
is the most interesting match you'll ever see. That's not really true, but we're going to see some Miracle Bonfires. That's what we're going to see.
Kyle Olson's playing 4-color pod.
Yeah, there's a new version that's 4-color pod that...
Yeah, this is 4-color pod against Naiapod. So Kyle is actually on 4-color pod.
Yep.
And Brandon Nelson on the left, on the right there.
Well, if you're dyslexic.
If you're dyslexic, that's Brad Non-Nelson. That's the non-Brad Nelson.
Non-Brad Nelson.
Yeah, that's the non-Brad Nelson.
That's
on the right
very
there.
funny because it isn't Brad Nelson. It's Brandon Nelson.
He's also a well-known pro-ish kind of player.
No, he's a pro. I would
Okay.
consider him a pro. He was on the national team as the alternate. Really good Magic player from Minnesota. Definitely battled a few PTQs against him. And
he's got to be, I haven't looked around the room that much, but he's probably top 5 players in the room, right?
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Very easily. Top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Speaking of top 3, we've got John Pennick, casually 8-0.
Yeah.
Drawing also into, possibly going for the 9-0 just for lulz.
Just for the funds. He's like, yeah, we'll just go 12-0 easily, take home a check, walk out of here.
Dr. Pennick.
Yeah, Pennick is absolutely insane. Dr. Pennick on MTGO. But, so this matchup is a pod mirror. The cards that are important in this matchup are Huntmaster of the Fells, Birthing Pod, and Bonfire. Blade Splicer and Restoration Angel do pack a punch, but any player that miracles a Bonfire just wins the game. So what you're trying to do is get your creatures out of that range by finding either your Titans or your Warfield Silverhearts. Once you get those into play, then you're a little bit immune to a Bonfire. But a turn 2 Birthing Pod is very good in this matchup.
Now, there's some interesting differences between these two players' decks. The most important one is that Kyle has blue. He has 3 Phantasmal Images. He also has a Deceiver Exarch so that he can chain if he wants. Like if he feels the need to chain way up, he can do the Deceiver Exarch Phantasmal Image trick. All the way up through Zealous Conscripts to get a Titan into play very quickly. Yeah,
he definitely... So the thing that Kyle can do is, he can ramp his Birthing Pods up really high. But Kyle is going to 6. The downside to playing all these colors is you don't have the consistency that Naiapod will have.
The mana is way worse.
Yeah, but if you do have your mana, you do have an advantage because all of your birds can turn into Phantasmal Images, which can copy anything that your opponent has. So if you have an image in hand and they play, like, say, an Infernal Titan, you can actually just play the one in hand, copy a bird, turn a birds into another Infernal Titan, kill off the Infernal Titan, have 2 in play. Definitely a really sweet interaction that Phantasmal Image has when it comes to Birthing Pods.
It's important to note out of Brandon's deck, he is Naiapod, but he does not have a 7-drop.
No, he does not have a 7-drop. Most of the Naiapod decks are more aggressive. Your Elish Known actually isn't the most important. The 4-color wants it because they're going to get behind on board.
Yes.
Usually because they're going to stumble about a half a turn slower than an actual Naiapod deck.
And Brandon has a Wolfer Silverheart.
Yes.
Kyle does not. Kyle's 5s are Zealous Conscripts,
and Thragtusk.
Acidic Slime, and Thragtusk.
Yes. Where Brandon Nelson's are Wolfer Silverheart, Conscripts, and Acidic Slime. But so we're off to the races. Kyle starts with a Force, no birds. Brandon, Copperline Gorge into Absence Pilgrim, all 3 colors.
Extremely important because he has all 3 colors immediately. Kyle on the basic land plant finds himself an Elvish Visionary.
Yes, he has access to blue and a township, but no red for those bonfires. That's the important thing. You found an island, but you don't have a blue card. Just see the consistency issues of the 4-color pod deck.
Yep, and in his hand, he's got an Inferno Titan and a Bonfire, neither of which is
going to do much.
And neither of which can he cast currently.
Yeah, Brandon's going back and forth because he has more acceleration in the form of mana dorks, but you don't really want to just walk into a Bonfire. That's just the scary thing. You don't want to get through from it after your opponent mulliganed and just played a Visionary.
Yeah, and Brandon is already... Oh, he's going to copy this Visionary?
That's interesting.
Wow, interesting. So Brandon just wants to stay ahead with just cards. He wants to 1-for-1 because he didn't mulligan and Kyle did.
Yeah, 1-for-1ing isn't the biggest thing. I think the reason that he did that is because now he can Restoration Angel and have 2 angels on turn 3.
Nice.
Yeah,
so we've... Ooh, so we found our red mana on top with Copperline Gorge. And we bonfired for 1. And Elvish Visionary Smash.
Drops Brandon to 18.
18 turn clock there.
If only that was the case.
Kyle's graveyard's a little off camera. We're going to try and get that back on camera.
Yeah. Brandon actually hit a bonfire, but it's too early in the game. Maybe in 2 turns it might have a better effect on the game, but you don't really want to spend your turn killing a visionary.
Yeah.
So.
But we're just going to flood the board with more mana dorks.
Yeah,
Seems like a fine plan.
We've been bonfired once. Assume that our opponent doesn't have another one.
Yeah, if you get bonfired twice, you know what? I guess you just wipe your hands that game and move on. So now we've got all 4 colors for Kyle Olson.
But no Nephilim in sight.
Rats. Do you remember the non-black Nephilim?
No.
Can you keep them straight?
No.
I was RGD drafting with Adam Prozac on Snap Keeps on Thursdays, if you want to tune into that. And we were RGD drafting, and we got past 3 Nephilims and passed them all in one draft.
Oh, that sounds sad.
In one that's one pack.
Yeah.
Like 8 packs, 3 Nephilims. It was ridiculous.
They show up a lot, and they get passed a lot.
Yeah.
But, and why'd you pass them all? Anyway, Brandon's contemplating with his turn. He does see a Pilgrim. He can bonfire, or he can just start playing his creatures. At this point, I think you just want to play some spells out. I don't think you should be that afraid of your opponent doing something big.
Yeah, I think that, I think he has Restoration Angel in hand, right?
Yes.
So, it's unfortunate we couldn't blink our Visionary, but...
Into an Angel?
Into an Angel. But I think that Brandon is looking to get something on the board to be able to blink for value.
Yeah.
And here it is, probably a Blade Splicer.
Yep.
I was talking with Brian Brown-Duin about the Naya aggro and Naya pod sort of deal. And when you're playing against other Naya pod decks, or I'm sorry, against like the Naya aggro on Naya aggro matchup, apparently Blade Splicer is not very good.
No, it actually isn't that strong of a card because it gets trumped immediately by Restoration Angels, Titans, bigger creatures. So what did we okay, so we didn't top deck a second red, but we do have that Birds of Paradise now, so we can play a Birds and try to get that Infernal Titan online in the next turn.
Yep.
But once we do this, I think Brandon's just going to bonfire for 2, keeping in range of this township. You don't want it to get out of control.
Yeah, I think that bonfire for 2 is definitely the play here. Don't really need to do it for 3, even though he could.
It depends if he doesn't have anything else to do. Is either that Pilgrim attacks, leaving a Birds untapped, or you just do it for an extra damage. Then you get to play around Restoration Angel. I mean, he might just attack with the Blade Splicer, and then see if there's a Restoration Angel that he can bonfire away as well.
Oh, I see. So he's going to attack.
He
with
misses 1 point of damage, but he gets to not get blown out by a Restoration Angel.
Right.
I don't like if he plays it pre-combat, unless he has a read on his opponent, because if he does, then the Blade Splicer token gets eaten. This prevents.
Oh, we're just gonna bonfire for 3.
Yeah.
The one that he could have miracled for 1, but of course would have only taken out a Visionary
and slowed him down.
And slowed him down a lot. So now he's going to be able to get in for 4 damage here. So he's going to take Kyle down. 3 damage with the bonfire, 4 damage with the creatures. Kyle goes to 13.
Kyle definitely needs to draw his one of Mountain, or a.
That looks like a Copperline Gorge, so it's not.
Yeah, next turn he has Infernal Titan.
Next turn he's got Inferno Titan. So let's see what Brandon Nelson can do here. The problem, of course, is that Brandon still has that Angel.
Yes.
So even if he...
So he's just going to Township. That deals 6, 7, 8, 9, dropping Kyle to 4, and that means that Infernal Titan. And the reason that he's doing this is this deals a bunch of damage, and you always play around the Miracle Bonfire. That's always what you do. So that's what Brandon's doing. He can save the Restoration Angel, but then if he attacks with the Restoration, he deals way less damage, like 3 less damage than he would. Or 2 less damage, excuse me.
This also means that if he somehow... If, let's say, Inferno Titan came down, he can still deal a lot of damage.
Well, I mean, Inferno Titan can only deal with 1 creature with the coming to play and 1 as a block, and then it's just game over. This is just a play that you see people make when you're playing around the Miracle Bonfire. You don't want to invest more to the board. You have a board position. Just do that. If they have the bonfire, then you have to find a different strategy.
And Kyle's had enough, so he's going to scoop up his cards. Brandon Nelson takes down game 1 against Kyle
Such a tight
Olson.
match. They're playing for top 8 right now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the winner is making top 8, winning all the glory,
Of a
getting
top 8.
high fives from me. No, you win, including the money and the cash prize and the trophy and the glory. You get high fives from me.
Nice.
And I only give top 8. I haven't even given my brother one.
You also get to lord something over Brad Nelson.
You do. I have not top 8 at one of these yet.
He can actually respond to that by saying, "I'm sorry, I can't hear you past my player of the year." So
Wait, what was that? I couldn't hear you.
yeah, exactly.
Past my
Enormous
Grand Prix
ego.
second place
Yeah, there you go.
last time I was here.
Shout out to Christian Falcano.
Hey! Oh.
So in our sideboard, Kyle Olson has access to the Thrag Tusk, which I imagine will come in.
It's not that good.
Really?
No.
Oh, all right.
Because you just grind through it. The cards that are most important in this matchup are like Elish Norn isn't bad, but Wolfear Silverheart and Daybreak Ranger are all stars.
Those are in Brandon Nelson's
Yeah, Brandon
side.
both has a
So-
Daybreak Ranger and a second Wolfear Silverheart.
He also has 2 Pillar of Flames and 2 Arc Trails to be able to deal with early creatures.
Yeah, the pillars won't come in, but the Arc Trails
Trails will.
Yeah, and the 2 Oblivion Rings will come in as well. Just a good answer to the threats like Birthing Pod or big cards. You could bring Ancient Grudge in, but it's very weak, especially since we have talked about how the Blade Splicers aren't good.
He also hasn't seen. Neither player has seen a Birthing Pod from the other player.
He saw a Birthing Pod in the form of Island out of Kyle.
Right, Kyle. So Brandon knows Kyle is playing Birthing Pod. Kyle doesn't necessarily know Brandon.
There's not many lists that play the old Martin Juice anymore. They're almost all pod decks. Even if they're 2 pods,
Sure.
They're still running 2 to 3 pods, all the lists. It's just the consistency issue. There's so many powerful decks right now that if you're going to play Naya, you need to be consistent against the more controlling decks. And you already have access to a bunch of awesome cards against Delver. You build your deck somewhat to hopefully be good against Delver. But yeah, so Kyle also has a Sun Titan, but that's fine in this matchup. Big creatures, like all we want to see is both players try to dodge their bonfires to get to the big creatures. So that's important. The middle guys aren't really that important. Huntmasters are good on the play, but they're not that good on the draw. And all the big guys are big. So like, I definitely think if you play this matchup 100 times, you'll see how huge the 2 Wolfear Silverhearts actually are. But we don't know if we'll see them because this matchup is so high variance because of the bonfires. Like,
Well, because the bonfire's in all the singletons.
yeah, well, it's sometimes the singletons, but like, man, testing for the Pro Tour, trying to figure out the Naya Mirror matches was so difficult because we couldn't really tell if any cards were actually good in any game that's on bonfire.
Right.
It's almost like I wanted to take all the bonfires out and then play the matches just to see how they interact without them, but
Or put one in your opening hand or something like that.
yeah, well, then you're just playing all the bonfire games.
Sure.
It was, testing for that Pro Tour was miserable.
So Star City Games is happy to announce the Star City Games Classic Series. This weekend, the Classic Series was in Knoxville, Tennessee. That was hashtag SCGKNOX. That took place simultaneously with this event. All Classic Series events have an IQ paired with them for day 2. Tomorrow, after the Knoxville Classic, CM Games is hosting a Super IQ at their location. Go to facebook.com/SCGIQ for more information.
Yeah, these tournaments, I'm actually going to the Richmond one in a couple weeks. The reason that I like them so much is that they give away not only a decent amount of money, but you qualify for the Invitational. So like these towns that aren't getting hit, like they only get hit once a year by the Open Series, they get these classics that are on the Eastern Coast, get a second chance to hit this. And especially with the 3 are coming up in the next couple weeks, all feed for Atlanta. And Atlanta's on the East Coast. So I'm going to be in Richmond.
It's also a good opportunity for slightly smaller cities. Like Knoxville, for example, we go to Nashville and we go to Memphis.
Yeah.
So we don't often go to Knoxville. But these slightly smaller tournaments are much better. But you don't really just want to have IQs because they're big enough that an IQ doesn't really suffice your hunger.
Yeah, especially the Richmond one I think is going to be great because the last time I was in Richmond I was gunslinging for one of the pre-releases for SCG, and there's this really cute girl that worked at the Starbucks, and I really want to go back and see if she's there. Yeah,
Big
she
game.
was really cute. We
So
talked for a while,
when you go into the Starbucks, is the opening line Google me?
What?
Do you just be like, hey baby, Google me, I'm famous, and then you see if she's impressed by that?
No, but one time I was talking about magic with a friend minding my own business in a bar, and one woman's like, magic? What are you talking about? And I was like, Google me.
That's sick.
I did use that line once. Anyway, let's get back to the action. We're going to game 2. Brandon Nelson is up a game, playing for top 8.
Yep. We just saw him win game 1 here against Kyle Olson and his 4-color Birthing Pod deck.
All right, so I don't even know. Like, the funny thing is, like, you don't even know if being on the play is the correct line, just for the fact that if Brandon just hits a perfect bonfire, it's so crazy. I really want to play these top decks in slow-mo. Can we have the players really slow down their draw steps to just, like, build the bonfire moments?
Just for the super
Guys,
rubbins.
if a bonfire would be good, could you just please spend 30 seconds drawing your card? Oh, wait, you said you built a time machine for us? Awesome. We have a time machine.
Nice.
When do you want to go back to?
Like 15 seconds ago before I asked you about Googling yourself.
What?
Just because I thought that was an awkward thing to say. As soon as I said it, I was like, man, I probably should have. Oh, well. I don't know. When would I go back?
All right.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that one.
All right, so.
But I got time because I have a time machine.
That's true.
So everyone's kept their openers. We're going to name Bird off of Cavern of Souls.
That, you know, you don't have a green source. Man, if there's a turn 1 Pillar of Flame. Oh, wow. Oh, I was hoping there's a turn 1 Pillar of Flame.
Well, as you said, he wasn't going to bring those in, but he's probably got the Arc Trails.
So, yeah, if we don't get any more. Oh, top deck green source off the top.
Nice.
All right, so.
But Kyle doesn't have anything else. He's got lands, 2 bonfires, and a Restoration Angel.
Very interesting keep by Brandon.
Yeah.
This is a greedy keep. He has double Arc Trail, probably a bonfire, and he's like, I'm just going to deal with a bunch of the early guys and hopefully draw into my green sources. Might even have a Borderland Ranger, so once he gets green, he gets white.
Now, Kyle does not have a turn 3 play. He does have a Thragtusk.
Well, Thragtusk is fine against a player that has Gamma.
Brandon did not draw a land.
No, and Borderland Ranger is going to allow Kyle to get bigger on mana. And all right, there's a Plains.
Almost certainly going to be our land for the turn. Interesting he didn't want the blue there. Oh, no, he has the Angel in hand. Not interesting at all. Never mind.
Yeah, he can Angel his Borderland Ranger to go get that. Or if he draws a line, he can Thragtusk and then Angel that, and then this game's going to game 3. Brandon kept a very risky keep.
Yeah. Oh, there's the forest, though.
And yeah, I did keep a Borderland. And the more amazing art Borderland Ranger.
Agreed. The single point perspective leading you through the woods with the machete art, I like a lot.
I actually got the old Borderland, the M10 ones, because I always like playing with the old cards, but then I compared them and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
This is Border and Blood.
I think that,
Border and Blood and this one are by far, the art is way better. Also,
I think that the Borderland Ranger from Avacyn Restored might be the best art in Avacyn Restored. I really like that art a lot.
Tamio's pretty good too, though.
Tamio's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, by far Descendants Path.
Oh,
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I actually want to buy the original art of that, which would probably be $10K or something. It's so good. Yeah, Descendants Path is by far the best art. Too bad it was on a really bad card.
So, Kyle has the option of playing a Thragtusk this turn, I believe, because he has another Cavern in hand, but he would have to name Beast with his Cavern.
No, he could name anything.
Oh, right, he has green. It was hidden. But the part of the land I saw wasn't green.
Technically, he couldn't name anything.
Right.
He could name a different creature type.
Right.
Not anything. Anything is not a creature type.
He couldn't name Table. He could name Anteater.
He could name Anteater. He could name Werewolf, I think. Or Wolverine. Wolverine is by far one of the sweetest ones.
Wolverine. That's a good one.
Uncountable and undestructible.
So we're going to trade 2 2s for 3. Kyle's still unsure of his play.
I mean, he's going to slam Thragtusk. He just doesn't know what he wants to name yet. Probably like Giant, but he already has a white and double red. So maybe it's like a green source that he might need. Like, he could just name Illusion.
Yeah. I'm thinking Illusion's probably what it's going to be, because he doesn't have the blue yet.
And now that he lost the Borderland Ranger?
Yeah.
Let's see if it's Illusion. Show me Illusion. This is the fun game I get to play. Let's guess what he named, and then wait for the director to tell us what it was.
Yeah. And Thragtusk.
All right, this is going to put Kyle to 23. Brandon's like, well, that's not good.
Yeah. Because Brandon's only going to have 4 mana this turn. He searched up that Plains. Although he's going to be able to play a Bird of Paradise that he just drew, if he so chooses. Named Illusion. Nice. We win. Yay.
What do we win? More time in the booth.
The right to keep announcing. Except for not me, actually. Because I'm leaving after this round.
That's true. You have other things to attend to.
Yep. Like checking the Twitter, which I learned from Twitter. You know who's coming here? In less than an hour.
Drew's driving here.
Drew Levin drove here from Madison.
Just to play Legacy.
Just to play Legacy tomorrow.
I wonder, does he have a room?
Maybe. So Huntmaster of the Fells from Brandon Nelson takes him up to 22, is that correct?
Yeah.
And he is going to also get a wolf token.
And before that happens, he's going to get bonfired.
Yes, I see. Well,
amazing Kristen Plaskow wolf token.
That's right. Kristen Plaskow, one of the graphic designers at Star City Games, did all of the tokens.
Plaskow.
That you see. Plaskow, sorry.
Plaskow. I was not hired for my pronunciation, sir. Pronunciation.
You can follow her at Zombie Jerky.
Zombie Jerky, yeah.
Zombee. She says some of the most absurd things.
She actually does. It's so funny.
It's
not even. We're not even plugging. You will find so much enjoyment out of what she tweets. It's comical how hilarious it is. Comical, hilarious. You could probably write a joke with that.
With the word comical and hilarious?
Yeah, you could write a joke. I'm helping you out. If you make a lot of money, ship back. All right, so Brandon's got to find a way out of this Bonfire Thragtusk loop that Kyle seems to have. Now he has double Restoration Angel, too.
Oh, that seems good against the Thragtusk.
Well, as long as he beats attritions through all this, then he can just Bonfire himself. The whole thing about this matchup is if you're behind, you just survive. You survive until you miracle a Bonfire. That's all you do.
So there's a naked Wolfer Silverheart.
Now this is going to protect him from Bonfire. He's like, well, if he has another Bonfire, then I just take 7 more damage. I'm just going to get a Wolfer Silverheart. That's going to protect me from Bonfire. The next turn, I'm going to pair him up, make a relationship.
Yep.
And get 12 power on the table, including whatever creatures.
Now, unfortunately for him, Kyle has multiple angels in hand, meaning that he's just got an army in the can every turn for the foreseeable future.
So here comes the extra Avacyn's Pilgrim. That leaves him with 3 cards, 2 angels, and a Bonfire. Brandon gets to take his turn. Does he find something big?
Did not find that Bonfire.
What does he have to pair with, though? It has to be a pretty decent creature.
Yeah, it has to be a non-1/1.
1/1
because
would be
the
fine.
1/1, I guess a 1/1 would be fine. It would turn into a 5/5 and still die to the Thragtusk if it dealt damage. So he's got some birds in hand. Those can be 4/5s.
Yeah, we're in an awkward position right now that if Brandon blocks with his 8/8, he can just Bonfire for 3, wiping his board.
Yeah.
What to do, Brandon? What to do? He might be threatening. He might want to just threaten Restoration Angel.
Sure. And just play out 1 Bird of Paradise and pass.
Yeah.
Also, if he plays out the 1 Bird of Paradise, he does have that that card that's very, very shiny is a Gavany Township. So he can activate that as well. Putting it out of Thragtusk range.
Going to Disneyland, Brad.
So I believe that did indeed make a relationship. He's going to pass the turn with Township mana and Angel mana up.
All right, so this is not only going to give him a 3/3 beast, but put him at 28 life.
Yep.
One of the sweetest interactions that we'll get to play with over and over and over again.
Yep. For the
Once
next
rotation,
year and a half, or no, for the next year.
For the next
year-ish. Yeah, year.
Yeah.
That's so
14
good.
months.
You can cross your fingers and hope that Thragtusk makes it into M14.
Oh, I hope. I love the card. It's like my favorite. It's like in every single deck, regardless of color. Every deck splashes green now for that card.
Yep.
So we have a Huntmaster.
We drew Huntmaster for the turn. So we have Huntmaster, Angel, and Bonfire of the Damned facing down Brandon Nelson. Brandon has Forest. He's flipping those cards awful quick. Forest, Birds of Paradise, a red card.
A red card is an Arc Trail.
Of some kind. It's an Arc Trail?
Yeah.
And something else.
Alright, this is a tough decision.
For Kyle?
Yeah, because he has to know what to attack with. If he loses his Thratus, then he just loses his entire board to a Bonfire if it's Miracle. And then the rest of his hand is still fine, but you're at a point in the game where the next 2 turns are crucial regardless of like if the top card is a Bonfire or not. That if you just make the correct decisions, you're gonna lock Brandon out. So he just wants to play tight and figure all this out.
So he decides to pass the turn.
He's passing the turn? Wow.
Well, he was facing down a 4-5 and an 8-8 that could become 5-6s and 9-9, which is what happened. Looks like Brandon drew Birthing Pod.
Yeah, he found a Birthing Pod. He's not going to want to get rid of his Silverheart, especially since it's only an Infernal Titan. Infernal Titan can't kill an Angel.
Yep.
But he might want to upgrade his birds in hand to an Elvish Visionary.
To a Visionary. But he doesn't. He passes.
He just wants to keep threatening Restoration Angel, re-blink.
Another beast, another 5 life.
At this point, you just Alpha.
I would think so.
You Bonfire for 3 in Alpha.
To take out the 1 extra Bird of Paradise?
Yeah. Just to make sure you deal lethal.
Yeah, Brandon is only at 10, so he's in dire straits.
What did he draw?
He drew a Bird of Paradise.
Oh, okay. It looked like a red card for a second. So yeah, he is able to Bonfire for 3, dropping Brandon to 7, and attack with all of his creatures. Only 2 can be threatened to block at this position. That's lethal. That would be 9 damage. If he does have a Restoration Angel, it can't pair with a Wolf or Silverheart because then the birds will die to the 3 damage, and so then he will lose a creature, but the Restoration will bounce off of Restoration, and he'll go to 1 life. Definitely a fine position, especially at 33 life.
Yeah, so bonfiring for 3 pre-combat, taking out the bird,
means that your Thragtusk will live.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to block Wolfear. Well, I guess he can block Wolfear to Thragtusk now because it's a 9/9. But there will not be any blink with Restoration Angel shenanigans because the birds would die. I mean, I guess, no, he could blink the birds and then let the birds repair. So then it does lose the counter, but it loses the 3 damage as well.
Looks like he's going to attack before anything.
Interesting.
Including the Pilgrim.
So what this means is if you block the 3 biggest creatures, you're going to take 7, but without the extra land, you can only bonfire for 2.
Right. I think that Kyle just wants to put as much damage through as possible.
That Pilgrim doesn't deal an extra damage.
That's true, it doesn't. So an Angel is being blocked by a large Bird of Paradise. A Beast token is being blocked by a large Wolf or Silverheart. And a Thragtusk is being blocked by a tiny Bird of Paradise. And Beast, Angel, and Pilgrim are going to come through.
Yeah, and now if he activates his Township, which he doesn't have to do this minute, but if he does, that saves both of his creatures from a bonfire for 2. So I don't really enjoy this attack.
Yeah, this attack was very strange. The Pilgrim attacking was particularly weird. So Brandon's going to drop to 3. Still not in a great position. but certainly not game over. This means that I think Kyle just wants to untap and bonfire for 3.
He's just going to play Huntmaster. He's just going to put all his eggs in one basket.
He's also got a Bird of Paradise in hand, and the Cavern is still on Bird.
Yeah.
But he's going to pass. Brandon activates Township, end of turn. No Miracle Bonfire.
How does Brandon Nelson get out of this? He needs something big.
Very interesting to see him play this game. Like,
well, he's played
just hanging on, played from a very disadvantageous position.
Yes. So this is going to leave Brandon at 3 life with a bonfire across the table. But if he can somehow, there's a Huntmaster.
He took out the Huntmaster and the Bird of, or the Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Yeah, but this is going to put him up to 5.
Up to 5.
The bonfire is going to kill his board, and he gets to attack with a bunch of creatures. So the game is over. Brandon obviously doesn't know this. Kyle does.
1, 2, 3. Is the game?
Because
game?
bonfire
Yes,
kills the 2
right,
creatures, and he gets to attack with 2 3/3s.
Yep.
Well, a 2 2 and a 3 3.
And now he can do it for 3 if he wants to, which is gonna be good enough.
Yep. All right. They're going to.
They're gonna go to game 3 here.
Yep. So now we're going to game 3 with 19 minutes on the clock for both players.
And neither player has played. Oh no! Did Brandon play a birthing pod?
Brandon did not. He left it in his hand.
So, has neither player had a birthing pod in play?
They have neither have played a birthing pod. That's what happens in your 30 creature bonfire.
That's true. So Kyle has 4 in his deck, and Brandon has 3 birthing pods in his deck, and we haven't seen one yet in 2 games. Pretty ridiculous. Now Kyle's wearing the pink shirt with the pop collar. That's a Minnesota team of some kind, right?
Yeah, the Minnesota players for some reason wear this pink pop collar. I don't get it.
I see them at like St. Louis and Kansas City and Chicago.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. They're the Bros or something. I don't know. I don't affiliate with them.
That's pretty. Well, you're not a Minnesotan.
I was for a couple months.
Were you? Mm-hmm. No.
I lived in Moorhead, Minnesota for about a year.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. I moved in and out of that apartment after a year.
So, I see like there's like a total of 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a pink shirt in the top 8 of a Star City event. That's partially because there aren't that many events up here. So
it's actually kind of a funny story. Real quick, not about the pink, but me living in Minnesota. So when I moved there, my address got changed, and Jerry was living in Minnesota at the time, I do believe. And he was the highest ranked Magic player in the state.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved there,
Right.
and then I was because it was in the middle of 2010.
Right.
And some people were giving him a hard time. It was kind of funny.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
The In Contention podcast is the official podcast of the Star City Games Open Series, hosted by Matt Kranstuber, Joey Pasco, and myself, Ruben Bressler. This week, the In Contention podcast has a Return to Ravnica preview card, so tune in this Thursday and every Wednesday thereafter at StarCityGames.com for Open Series previews.
I didn't know we were self-plugging.
I decided to.
Well, I do playtest videos with Gerald Thompson on StarCityGames.com. We also have a show called GBTV. You should probably watch that
You done?
stuff.
No? You also have streams.
I have started streaming again, yeah. I started a show called Trainwreck Tuesdays. It's where we play stupid decks and act stupid, and it's kind of fun. 10 p.m. Eastern.
So, Brandon...
When can I guest star on
the podcast?
Yeah.
Whenever. When do you want to?
Next one.
We're doing the preview next one.
I'll do it. I'll just preview it right now. It costs 18 mana. It's green and black and red and blue and white. When it comes into play, it's It's Progenitus mana +8 colorless, and when it comes into play, it tells a funny joke, and it's actually Ruben Bresser. Go.
Good one. I'm an 18 mana.
And when it comes into
creature.
play, you tell a joke.
I'm not. Well, I didn't just come into play, so I don't have to tell a joke. I told you one already. Get out of here.
And here's some funny stuff. All
So
right.
Brandon is on the play this game. Does that change anything for him?
No, you're just like it's the same game plan. Huntmasters are more important on the play, but you still keep them in. Your Archtrails are still awesome. Your Blade Splicers aren't. You're trying to find your Birthing Pods, your Bonfires, your Huntmasters, your Silverhearts. Those are the important cards. Accelerating into them is important, but you don't want to invest too many cards into 1/1s that produce mana, because a Bonfire for 3 just like nukes your development. So what he's looking for is Borderland Rangers, Huntmasters, Birthing Pods, and Silverhearts. Those are the best cards in his deck.
Looks like Brandon has a Bird of Paradise and the possible ability to cast it. I saw a green-white land.
I do hope he keeps green in more than 33% of his opening hands.
I saw a green land. It's a Sun Petal Grove, so it's not a Razorverge Thicket.
Yeah, he has
Not-
one Ripbound, one Sun Petal.
Not quite the easy keep.
Well, you can be. It sucks to be.
Yep, we're gonna keep, and we're gonna play Sun Petal Grove. And
Depending
play
if you see, because Blade Splicers aren't good, you would kind of go 1 to 4. So you can like waste this extra turn. It's not like your opponent's gonna be able to play a Huntmaster on you.
Right.
So you can still accelerate. It doesn't hurt you that much.
Kyle looks like he has a Zealous Conscripts in hand.
Yes, not that good of a card in this matchup. It can sometimes like steal a game. I find a lot of players like are in this situation. They're like, well, I just want cards that can potentially steal games. But because he does, I guess he does only has third test. He doesn't have a Silverheart, so having a 5-drop that does something different is pretty good.
So Borderland Ranger from Kyle Olson.
This is how you want to write it up. This is the start you want for a pod-on-pod matchup. Cards that give you card advantage that aren't just designed to beat down. So when you start getting into the grindier turns, you don't get beat up too hard. So even if an Archtrail happens, like you still got a card back out of it.
So would you expect if Brandon has Archtrail, would you expect it from him, or would you expect Huntmaster?
Well, if he has a Huntmaster, you just slam the Huntmaster.
There's a Birthing Pod.
Does he have a third land though, or a 4th mana source? That's somewhat important. I think I saw a Township.
Yep, there's a Township. So Brandon is going to Archtrail.
Yeah, take those creatures out, slow your opponent down.
There's Township.
And does he invest his other mana birds? I kind of like playing a birds here. It's scary because you don't want to get
he's not
bonfire.
going to do it.
He's not going to.
Because Kyle could Bonfire for 1 here if he had
And then
one.
he's left with no mana sources. But you want to get your Silverheart. So if your opponent doesn't have a bonfire, then you just get to play Silverheart and win the game. On the spot, the game is over. It's so hard to deal with that card this early in the game after an Archtrail.
Kyle also has a Birthing Pod in hand, in addition to a Bird of Paradise.
Yeah, so he doesn't have an extra green, so he's just going to play. He's debating between Blade Splicer or a Manadork, and I think Manadorks are just more important. Yeah, you can obviously tell that Blade Splicer's not a good one. He's debating between Blade Splicer or One Ring for
Yeah. Unfortunately for Kyle, he only has the 1 green source. Oh, nope, he's going to play the Blade Splicer.
Yep. Alright, so Brandon just wants an untapped green source, which his deck doesn't have many. He has 3
An untapped any source. Mana source.
Sorry, yeah, he just needs an untapped mana source. He does have a birds.
Doesn't look like he got there. He got a Copperline Gorge.
Not the worst. You play a Restoration Angel this turn, and next turn you play Silverheart and make a 7/8 flyer.
Yep.
This not only blocks the Blade Splicer, but
So when he plays this Restoration Angel, is it going to be after Birds of Paradise has blocked and then blink, or is he going to jump in front of the Golem?
I would definitely jump in front of the Golem.
Brandon apparently weighing that decision right now.
Doesn't want to get bonfired. I mean, if anything, you might as well put the birds in front of it. I don't think he's going to take the damage.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly playing the Restoration Angel. He's just deciding which
I think he
portion
really
of
wants to
combat.
have Angel guy, so I think he's more feeling just blocking with the birds, getting the Angel,
Yeah.
and start attacking for a bunch of
I don't think
damage.
he's going to be that afraid of the 3/3 once he has an 8/8 and a 7/8. So
Yeah.
that seems like the likely scenario, assuming he wants to play around as much as he possibly can.
Well, there's no real reason not to block with birds and blink. Taking 3 is just a waste. Definitely deep in the tank. Doesn't know which line he wants to take.
So he's going to block, it looks like.
Oh, he's definitely going to block.
No, but with the bird instead of the angel.
He's going back and forth.
Yeah,
trying
I thought
to
he was
soul
going
read.
to declare there.
The problem with it is he already played it around it once. He should play around it again.
Yes.
And now I understand that sometimes that's not correct, but if you're taking lines to play around a card,
Then you should just keep
because your
taking that
gut
same
maybe
line.
thought
Exactly.
about it,
Yep.
or you played the matchup so much that you can afford to play around it regardless of if you have a reaction to it or not. No.
So
block.
Restoration Angel is going to block the
Yeah.
token. And he's going to be rewarded because he does not have the bonfire in hand.
No, but he does have a pillar.
Oh, does he have a pillar?
No, that's his Zealous, sorry.
That's the Zealous Conscript.
I feel like it's hard in Brandon's spot to just like trust your gut there, because why is your opponent attacking you with a 3/3 first striker?
Yes.
Unless he wants to bonfire ball. And in Brandon's head, that's why he would do that.
Birthing Pod.
Paying the full life.
Just hoping and praying that Brandon does not kill his Blade Splicer.
All right. Well, Big Daddy's coming down.
And we're gonna.
Brandon's like, I've been having fun with you, Kyle. We've been having some good matches, but
here's
the game
an
is over.
enormous dog. Now, what's Brandon thinking about here? Is he thinking
Brandon
about?
is just like thinking about all the birthing pot scenarios. He's going through his head. This game is, wow, he's not going to? Why?
I don't know.
What, like, name physical cards that make you not want to do this. Unless he wants to pod. Oh, he wants to just kill the birthing pod.
Yeah.
He doesn't want a clone effect to happen, like birds into clone.
Sure.
Clone of
So
Silver
he's
Heart.
just going to acidic slime this birthing pod.
Yeah, he's way ahead. He's playing it safe.
Oh, he's going to conscripts.
Oh, he's just gonna Titan.
So 1 to the Blade Splicer, 2 to Kyle Olson.
Yep.
That's going to drop Brandon down to 16.
14.
14?
Yeah. Three birthing pod.
3
Phyrexias.
birthing pod for Exius.
Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now you just pair up with Big Titan.
Yep. Kyle finally finding a 4th land this turn. A little too late.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to come back from an Infernal Titan.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think it's too likely, unless he can somehow get 2 Phantasmal images copying the Titan. Get a couple of Titans in play, because he does have 2 1-drops, but I don't think he has enough mana or enough birthing pods for that matter, even though he has 1 in hand.
It's too tough. Like, yeah, he would have to have a blue source and an image in hand to be able to do anything like that. I mean, this game is wrapped up. He can make an Infernal Titan, but it's as fragile as a balloon. Just poke it and... Oh, sweet. We got some good news we'll tell you about after this.
Nice, yeah. Interesting
Did BB
news
make
concerning
Did BB make topic?
news from the Knoxville Classic. So tune in after the break for that, or after the match, during the break for that. So Kyle is going to drop an Avacyn's Pilgrim, and immediately is going to birthing pot it away. I would imagine. There it is.
I don't really know what he's going to get. I think it has to be a image and just hope your opponent doesn't pop it, but...
The likelihood of that is
Very
low.
low. Yeah, there's an image going to copy Infernal Titan. Deal 1 to birds, 2 to his face.
It's going to take Brandon down to 12, but this matchup is all but locked up.
Well, if you can't kill him, if he draws another land...
Although Brandon does not have... Yeah, Brandon only has 4 mana.
Yeah, so this stops him from Wolfering, and Kyle does have an Zealous Conscripts in him.
That's true.
So
if Brandon is not able to kill Kyle this turn,
then potentially
then
12 damage.
12 damage exactly would come
But
through.
we hit...
Did we hit our land?
Lethal.
Yep,
Yeah,
now we have it.
well, it's not
Now
lethal.
we
It
got
drops Kyle to 1.
Yep, so that's a 10-10 Inferno Titan. Going to drop Kyle to 1 life.
Yep.
It's a Plains.
He did draw land, but not going to be enough.
Not going to be enough. So if Brandon had not drawn the land...
No, because it would still... If Brandon just played anything on the board,
Yeah.
it either blocks or eats one of the damage. Like,
Right.
It's a cool play, but it's just not going to actually do
Not
the
going to be
damage.
enough.
So just figuring it out, Kyle's like, all right, just making sure that I have no out, and all right. And he's like, wait a minute, if I Zealous Conscripts will for Silverheart, can they be buddies? Can they be pals?
They cannot.
They cannot. They are not buddy-buddy.
Because it's only when one of them comes into play can they pair.
Correct.
Kyle's got a handful of birds. A bird in the hand, as it were.
A bird in the hand.
And that's going to be it for Brandon Nelson. He's
Yeah, look
with
at
his Naya
that
pod deck.
exhale from Brandon. Just